Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon I bid to everyone watching this video right now. My name is Adriana. My group mates consist of Azrul, Amirah, Amanda and Zawwin, and today's topic is a teacher's mental health during the pandemic. Mental health is as important as physical health, thus we feel like this issue should be looked into. What is mental health? Mental health is the level of psychological well-being or an absence of mental illness in someone. It is the state of someone who is functioning at a satisfactory level of emotional and behavioral adjustment. So basically, physical health is what is going on in the outside. Maybe a scar, maybe a fever, but mental health is basically what is going on inside your mind. Are you feeling happy or overly too happy? Are you feeling sad or overwhelmingly sad? Things like that. So we will be looking at a teacher's mental health during this pandemic.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Azrul Azmi and I'm going to present on my point, which is internet coverage. Internet coverage is one of the factors that can contribute to the teacher's mental health during MCO and CMCO. How it affects teacher's mental health during MCO and CMCO? Let's go to the next slide. Before I elaborate more for this point, we need to know the general meaning for internet coverage. You can refer the slide. Internet coverage or internet network coverage is the extent of the area to which the wireless signals are transmitted. Wireless signals are strong within a certain physical parameter, and beyond that parameter, the signal strength significantly weakens. So basically, we are all familiar with the internet coverage, the terms, and we sometimes or frequently face the problems during the online class, which we had no internet coverage or maybe a weak internet coverage. Can be difficult for teachers, students, lecturers, and all. So let's go to the next slides for more elaboration. Okay, now, how internet coverage affect teachers' mental health during the MCO and CMCO period? Look at the slide. The first point, disrupted teaching and learning process. Teachers will be stressed out and some might be anxious if they are not able to distribute the learning materials to all of their students. As we all know, during MCO and CMCO period, all educational institutions are not allowed to be opened. Hence, teaching and learning process will need to be conducted fully online. With that being said, internet is very much needed, right? But think about this. What if in your area or your location where you stay at, there's no internet coverage or maybe a very weak internet coverage? How would you handle that as a teacher who need to conduct an online class but facing with internet coverage issue? You will be very anxious and very sorry towards your students, right? Because the teaching and learning process are disrupted and you're not able to deliver the learning materials as well. It will be a very stressful state for teachers. Less or more, the pressure and the anxiousness, it will affect your mental state as a teacher because it's your responsibility to teach your students and provide them with the learning materials. Do you get what I mean? Okay, if you get that, let's move on to the second point. Declining physical health. How do you think internet coverage can be associated with physical health in contributing to teachers' mental well-being? Well, as stated in the slide, look at the slide. Some teachers might need to personally reach each one of the students to distribute the learning materials. Personally, I would say this is the last resort as a teacher, especially those who teach in the rural area. They might need to physically go to every single houses of their students just to distribute the learning materials. But don't you think it will be very exhausting physically? Because when you are physically exhausted, your mental well-being will be affected as well. How? Even though you have reached every student of yours, you still have no internet connection or internet coverage, right? And will you do that every single day, reaching out to your students? You still need to think an alternative to get a strong and a stable internet coverage, right? Now, if you are physically exhausted, your body are all worn out and you still need to have the lesson to be conducted and material to be distributed physically again, not to mention the other problems such as financial problems, husband-wife problem, etc. You get what I mean? That's the first 2 points. Are you guys okay? If you are good, let's move on to the next slide. Moving on to the next point, parents' pressure. Parents were pressuring and commenting on teachers' connectivity with their children during the MCO through the online classes. Well, this is kind of scary, but this is a good thing to see parents are concerned about their child's study. But don't you think too much caring and pressuring teacher is not a good sign for teachers, right? Especially for their mental well-being. This kind of issue where teachers being pressured by parents frequently happen even when teachers are connecting well with their students. But imagine as a teacher you have no internet coverage to connect with your students and the parents are pressuring you for not connecting with their children. It will be even more stressful, right? This will pretty much affect your mental well-being because too much pressure from them would cause you as a teacher to seek for the urgent alternative to connect with your students. Well, to be honest, the internet issue or the internet coverage issue cannot be settled in one day, right? Hence, that is how internet coverage issue faced by teacher would messing out with teachers' mental well-being because of the pressure not only by their own individual concerns but also from the students' parents. Do you get that? Okay, now let's move on to the final point. Okay, just now we talked about the internet coverage issue faced by teachers, right? Now let's see how students who face the internet coverage issue would affect teachers' mental health. Okay, students' slow learning progress. Not only teachers who face the internet coverage issue, but students too. Because this issue, teacher will need to face another issue other than their own internet problem, which is their students' slow learning progress, where the students are affected by the internet coverage, the internet coverage not coping with them. Then they will be demotivated to learn because they might be left behind compared to their peers. Here comes another concern for the teacher. Now, teachers will need to figure out how to help students so that they will be on the same pace and progressing well along with their classmates. Well, to add on that, the schools hires up pressure teachers to reach their target as they usually did in the school before. All these kind of situations are connected to each other, will be an extra concern and burden to teacher who still have other sides problems to be settled at the same moment. Imagine if you are the teacher. Now we can see how internet coverage affect teachers' mental health during the CMCO or MCO online classes session. Let's move on to the final slide. Let's go. Okay, the final slide. I hope you're still there. Hang in there. Bear well with me. Okay, move on. How to overcome the issue. First, the internet-wise. Teacher might need to be experimental with each telco. You know, the Cellcom, Digi, try everything and figure out the best internet plan, the best telco to be used for online teaching that work the best in your respective area or location. Well, this kind of way might cost a bit of money or some money, but as a teacher, we need to be responsible because it's our duty, right? We need to give the best for our students, hoping that it will be all worth it at one day. We sacrifice everything, but never mind. It's our duty. And next, for the teacher's mental well-being or mental health, it is better to seek for family support or maybe friend support or anyone that you trust the most. Reach out to them. If you're feeling overburdened or you have so many concerns, tell them your concern and ask them to be your listener. Because as long as we as a teacher could get all the things that have been bottled up off the chest, it will be alright. Because it is not a good thing to keep all the burden bottled up for a long time, because eventually it will turn into poison and affect you physically, mentally, emotionally. And lastly, be unapologetic. Well, the internet coverage issue is not your fault as a teacher. Don't blame yourself because sometimes it can't be helped. Don't be too hard on yourself. Instead, calm down and try to find the best way out. Be rational and always remember this is a very honorable job as a teacher, and Allah will never test his subject beyond their ability. Well, I think that's all from me. Thank you for listening, and assalamualaikum and bye.
Hello everyone, I hope you enjoy my opening act. That is just a little bit of an advertisement for my point, which is the household chores and how it affects a teacher's mental health during this CMCO. Enjoy! Okay, the first slide of my point is the definition of household chores. So according to an online dictionary that I found on a website, it is said that household chores is tasks such as cleaning, washing and cooking that have to be done regularly at home. So basically household chores is basic chores that can be done or have to be done by every normal human being on earth to take care of their surrounding, especially their comfort zone, which is their room and their houses. So take note that this do not apply only to female teachers, but it also applies to the male teachers as well. Okay, moving on to the next slide. How does household chores affect a teacher's mental health during this CMCO? So, teachers are normal human beings. Teachers are not superhuman, okay? So this is how we should see it, because one day we are going to be future teachers or future educators. So like the students, they view teachers as someone they can look up to. Teachers are always correct and all. So we should show the students like how clean our surrounding is. I mean the study corner that we use to have online classes. We should show how clean it is. Okay, so messy households can lead to stress. As a recent study found that people who keep their household unclean tend to be stressful and unhappy. This is because dirty surrounding will produce bad quality air, which can lead to unhealthy bodies. So the surrounding which is not germ free will increase stress level. So it is very important to keep your surrounding clean. Okay, next point. Non-organized house can affect productivity. Believe it or not, an untidy house can affect and can divert your mind from focus, and it can make you feel uncomfortable. We as teachers, we are the one who convey the knowledge to the students. So we have to focus on the students' teaching and learning process during online classes. We cannot see them. We are not in front of them. So during these online classes, if we are the one being distracted by the dust, the dirt and the mess, how can we teach the student? How can we convey the positive energy towards them? So it is very important to have a clean surrounding. Okay? Okay, next point. Non-organized house can affect productivity. Believe it or not, an untidy house can affect and can divert your mind from focus, and it can make you feel uncomfortable. We as teachers, we are the one who convey the knowledge to the students. So we have to focus on the students' teaching and learning process during online classes. We cannot see them. We are not in front of them. So during these online classes, if we are the one being distracted by the dust, the dirt and the mess, how can we teach the student? How can we convey the positive energy towards them? So it is very important to have a clean surrounding. Okay? Okay, the last slides. How to overcome the household chores and mental health issue. Right, so the first one, the suggested ways is to practice batch cooking. Do you know what batch cooking is? It's like you cook one time for a certain amount that will last for a week, and then you store them in the refrigerator and just reheat the food when you want to eat them. This will actually save time, and you can do something else for the allocated time for cooking. For example, so study or to plan what is your next teaching activity, something like that. And the second point is to take turns for cleaning. This one does not applies to you if you live alone, but if you have a partner or if you live with your family, you can make a schedule so that you can take turns for cleaning to always keep your surrounding clean. This will actually give benefits to all of the family members and your partners as well. So the third point is to do a place at a time. For example, you allocated today to, clean your bedroom and tomorrow to clean your kitchen. Because we only have 2 hands and 2 legs. We only have one body. So that is actually quite productive if you can clean one place at one time, right? The next point is to prepare a to-do list. So for example, you allocate from 1 to 2 o'clock to wash your clothes and 2 to 3 o'clock to cook or to clean your study corner or something like that. Because it will be easier if you have a to-do list, so you can just take which place you have cleaned and what chores have you done for the day. Moving on to the 5th ways to overcome the issue. It would be suggested that you start with your comfort place, which is your study corner and your bedroom. I don't know, because I myself have my study corner in my bedroom, so I keep my comfort place very clean all the time. So if you have your study corner at the living room, so I suggest that you keep the living room clean all the time. Okay? And the last one is to have a cheat day. Alright, so it's like diet, but this one is more to cleaning and doing chores. It's fine if you have 1 day to rest, maybe 2 days in a week, because we have 7 days. But make sure your household is clean so that you will be productive and less stressed. Alright, that's all for me. We move on to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Adriana. I will be presenting on the financial problems part of this presentation. So moving on to the first slide. Definition. What is the definition of financial? So from Oxford Dictionary, they actually explained financial as the situation of an organization or individual financially. So the meaning of financial problems as stated by ITI Global is when one is not able to meet bills on time and pay for basic necessities. So if one individual is not able to buy groceries, things for them to use in their daily lives, that means they are in a financial crisis, a financial issue, a financial problem. Let's move on to the second slide. How does this affect a teacher's mental health? The first point is pressure in the household. Is pressure in the household related to financial problems? Yes. Because in a household, a teacher holds the responsibility of not only a teacher, but as a mother, a father, a son, a daughter, a husband and a wife. From all these, they must have a sense of responsibility in them, that they have to pay for certain things, to pay for their parents' medication, to pay for their children's school fees and whatnot. So this may cause a pressure on them, therefore will contribute to mental health problems later on, such as anxiety, depression. They might not notice that they have this mental health problem the second pressure is put onto them. But if all of these are piled up, this may cause a bigger problem later on. So yes, pressure in the household does affect a teacher's mental health. The second point is energy level decreases. Why, you might ask? Because when someone who is in a financial crisis even thinks about paying off their debt, paying off their bills, paying off everything in time, the thought of that is already very energy consuming. Thus, this will lead to their energy decreasing very rapidly. When their energy decreases rapidly, but they still have to perform everyday tasks, they still have to give all they have to complete their responsibilities as an individual in a household, this will lead to mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, so on and so forth. The third point is putting others first. So how does putting others first actually affect a teacher's mental health? This is because I will give you a scenario, okay? So teacher A has a daughter, and this daughter, she has to pay for the school fees. Because of the pandemic, teacher A's salary has been cut off. So therefore, she has only a limited amount of money to pay off her daughter's school fees. But in this situation, teacher A is sick. She completely neglects herself. She has to complete her other tasks, her other responsibilities as a mother, a daughter, and a teacher. So when she neglects her health, so this pressures her because she still has to work, even though she puts other people's needs first. So by putting others first, she is neglecting her own self. Therefore, when she neglects her own self, so by putting others first in cases that you need to be put first, this will affect your mental health. The last point of the slide is life feels out of control. Why does this affect a teacher's mental health? For obvious reasons. They feel like their lives are out of control because they are not able to finance their families, the people in their household. So when they are not able to uphold to their responsibility of being this and that, things may get out of hand and they may feel that they are not capable of controlling their own life because they are controlled by due dates, by rent dates, by the price of items, by daily necessities. So when their life feels out of control, this will ultimately contribute to their mental health, as stated before. This may contribute to other mental health problems such as derealization, schizophrenia, and things alike, because this is something that is happening in actual daily life. So for the last slide, how do we overcome this issue? Take note that issues of mental health cannot be completely cured by doing these methods, but this will help ease the problems that we have. So the first issue, pressure in the household, relates to the first point, having mutual understanding within family members. Why is this important, you might ask? When the individuals in a household have deeper understanding of each other's problems, they can play their part in helping. Elizabeth Myers, who is a counselor in the Samaritan Counseling Center, said that the secret of any healthy relationship is mutual understanding. So this has already been studied, saying that issues of mental health can be helped overcome by the help of the other members in the family. Even though not financially, maybe in a situation where the son says, I will not be purchasing any PC games until our family's financial issues has been solved. Notice how he doesn't even need to provide financially for his parents, but he cuts his own cost that will not affect him negatively, because he understands the problems that are going through in the household. Therefore, he does what he can to help. So this is why mutual understanding within a family is very important. The next point is related to energy level decreasing. So how do we overcome this issue? We have to have some time in a day to focus on ourselves. When a person is facing financial issues, they may make some drastic decisions that will sometimes lead to greater issues, such as debt to a certain company and things alike. So it is important for a person to take time to focus on themselves, to rest, to maybe spend some time doing their hobby, just to relax their minds in order for them to make better decisions for the household. The third point on how to overcome this issue is to put themselves first. This relates to the previous issue on putting others first. Okay, there are certain situations that you must put others first before yourselves. But in certain situations that involves health, that involves sickness, that involves priorities to you, you must understand that it is not selfish for you to focus on yourself instead of others first. So in dire situations like this, mutual understanding within the family is very important, because if you explain to your family of this and that, the situation that you are going through, the situation that is making you prioritize yourself instead of them, they will understand and they will do what they can do to help the situation in need. For example, the situation that I gave before of teacher A paying the daughter's school fees instead of paying for her own medications. Maybe perhaps the parents of teacher A or the husband of teacher A can pay for the daughter's school fees, and just to help ease the burden of teacher A. So teacher A can put themselves first and do the necessary things for her to treat her own to buy medications for her sickness and so on and so forth. So putting yourself first in situations like this, it will help you overcome the issue of a financial problem controlling your life, controlling your mental health. So for the last bit is be in charge. This relates to life feeling out of control. Being in charge here is that you need to understand that you control your life and not your life control you. Ways for you to feel as if you're in charge is by maybe having a financial plan, so you know when to pay for this, when to pay for that, but still having the extra money to pay off things of your own interest. Maybe if the financial situation is not right and you need to make more money, you can start up a small business by doing the things you love, such as you have a hobby of painting, so you paint and you sell the painting. So in that way you can kill two birds with one stone, because you will have time to do your hobbies, and at the same time you can earn more money for you and your family. So that's it for my part on financial issues and its effect to a teacher's mental health, and also how to overcome this issue.
Assalamualaikum and hello to everyone. My name is Amanda and I will be presenting on time management. Before I move any further into this video, I just want to say that if you hear any music, please pretend that it's my background music, because I can't do anything about my neighbor. Bless them. Anyways, I have a question. What is the one thing in the world that always moves forward and never reverse? The answer is time. The fact that time is always moving forward and never reversing is what makes it very difficult to manage. Now that we're living in a new kind of reality with the global pandemic going on, the already challenging thing has become even harder to do. If before time management was a challenge, it definitely is even more of a challenge now, especially when you are an individual who are involved in professional career, and that includes online instructors and our beloved lecturers. Now when it comes to time, you can't just say, time, please come back, I missed you, I need you back, and then the time comes running back to you. It doesn't work that way in our reality. Too bad. So when it comes to time management, there are a lot of issues that lecturers and online instructors have to face, and these issues can definitely affect their mental health. So the most common issue would be having to juggle between house chores and work. As we all know, lecturer is not a robot who is programmed to perform only one specific task. A lecturer can also be a son, a daughter, a husband, a wife with other responsibilities at hand. So when they have to work from home, they can't help but kind of mix working and house chores together, and this really messed up with their time management, having to wash the dishes, do the laundry, taking care of the children, while at the same time having to turn on their laptop, connecting to the Wi-Fi and conducting online classes can give them breakdown, especially when the time management is not effective. The next issue is related to the first issue, and it is feeling guilty due to prioritizing work over family. Unfortunately, not every family has mutual understanding when it comes to career and jobs. This happens a lot to female lecturers, especially female lecturers who are already married. Sometimes they feel guilty having to conduct online classes when they see their kids running around their house, or when they remember that they haven't prepared breakfast for their husband. And there are also situations when the husbands make their wives feel guilty over having to prioritizing work. The third issue would be overestimating self-capability, and this has a lot to do with underestimating the amount of time needed to complete tasks or materials or instructions. So there are lecturers who like to cram things up in a short amount of time, thinking that they can complete every single thing, and when they can't do that, when they can't manage to do that, they feel stressed out, because even if they are able to complete those things, their work might not be the best, they might be mediocre, and obviously that will affect their mental health. So the fourth issues is procrastination. Now, if you think that only students suffer from procrastination, you are wrong. Yes, you're wrong, because nobody can escape from this disease, even lecturers and professional individuals. So obviously, even if you have the highest degree of motivation to complete something, sometimes there will be just that short amount of time when you just want to surf the internet, or maybe not do anything, just stare at the wall, and that's when you procrastinate. Now, the last issues with time management would be not planning ahead. As we all know, planning is key, and as a student, in one semester we already have a lot of things that we have to deal with. We have assignments, we have tests, but for a lecturer, they have even more than that, and not planning ahead can really mess up with their schedule, because the worst case scenario is they will wake up in the morning and forgetting that they need to conduct a test for their students on that day, or going to bed forgetting that they need to start up a new topic and they haven't prepared any materials. So those are the issues when it comes to time management, and these issues can be really stressful to our lectures, but fortunately, for every problem there will be a solution, and for every issue faced there will be ways to overcome it. And now I'm going to talk about ways to achieve effective time management. So the first way to achieve effective time management is by making sure that the materials, notes, and instruction given are concise and clear. This is important in order to avoid redundant and unnecessary conversations and explanations from the lecturers, because there will be times when your students won't be able to fully comprehend what you're trying to deliver, but the interaction shouldn't be that much, because then the problem would be in the way you deliver your instructions. The second way is by establishing mutual understanding in the household. It is important for lecturers to make sure that their family understand and respect what they're doing. If they're working, even if they're working from home, the other family members need to respect their boundaries, and unless it is an emergency, only then can they be disturbed. The third way is by using available online tools. We are living in a technological era, and our educational system has been elevated through all these amazing online tools. So it is very important for lecturers to be able to detect and use appropriate online tools to minimize their effort. And even though their effort is minimized, that doesn't mean that they can't maximize the outcome. The fourth way is by giving autonomy to students. University students are mostly all adults, so lecturers need to have a little more trust in them. Sometimes there are lecturers who feel like they need to do everything by themselves, even though it's just dividing the students into groups or giving topics to the students. However, by giving autonomy to their students, they will be able to reduce unnecessary tasks. Not only the students will be trained to become more responsible and more alert, the lecturers will also have more free time by not doing the easy stuff. The second last way to achieve effective time management is by not stressing over imperfections. So let's say that the lecturers have done a schedule of all the things that they need to do throughout the semester or throughout the day, and it is impossible to make sure that everything goes as planned, because there will be something to hinder your plan from going perfectly. But lecturers need to stop stressing over imperfections, because mistakes happen. Nothing is perfect in this world, and when you stress too much over the smallest little thing, it will affect your mental health. Now, the last way to achieve effective time management is by keeping track of upcoming tasks. So of course, keeping track or planning ahead is very important, unless you want to get behind your schedule. Like I said, how some lecturers might forget that they need to conduct tests, or might forget that they need to collect due assignments. So yeah, and that's all from me. Thank you.
Oh wait, it's my turn. Okay, so I wasn't focusing, my attention got distracted, so I guess you would probably know what my topic is going to be. I will be discussing about attention span. So we will further discuss into the slide. Let's go. And we're back. So we will start with the first point, which is the definition of attention span. So what is attention span, you may ask? Attention span is the ability for a individual to maintain focus to an object or a stimuli over a period of time, and this ability is also known as sustained attention or vigilance. And according to Barkley 1997, attention includes number of components, which is the ability to maintain focus and alertness over a period of time. And sustained attention requires persistence and motivation. Okay. And fun fact, did you know that an average attention span of a human is around 8 seconds, while attention span for a goldfish, yes, a goldfish, is 9 seconds. So are we any difference with goldfish? Okay. And another information about attention span is why our attention span becoming shorter and shorter is because nowadays there are too many information that we can consume at the tips of our fingers everywhere. You know, there are so many things, there's so many information, there are so many things to consume, and yet we have so little time to consume them. So our brain allocated little time of period of attention to focus on one thing, because we just quick new info. So therefore that's why our attention span are decreasing day by day. And this can definitely affect relating to our topic, teachers' mental health during the pandemic, on how attention span can affect teachers' mental health. And we will further go deeper into that into the next slide. Okay, so the first point, which is environment. So how does environment affect attention span to teachers, and how does it affect teachers' mental health? So the first thing is environment. Working from home. We're talking about working from home. Working from home. Home is where we rest. Home is where we spend most of our leisure times. So the working area, our working area for teachers' working area, may not be conducive for them to put attention or to sustain attention for a period of time, and this can affect them because, for example, if one teacher has a family, she or he may need to attend their children, and there are just so many things that can affect their environment, and it may not be conducive for them to conduct a teaching and learning. And over time, this will definitely affect their mental health, because it's very stressful to work from home for a long period of time, where, like I said, home is where we rest and spend our leisure time. So environment definitely affect our attention span, and definitely affect teachers' attention span. Okay. The second point, disorganization. So what does this have to do with attention span, and how can it affect teachers' mental health? Well, first of all, teachers are human too. So their role are not just being a teacher at home. So during this MCO period of time where teacher needs to work from home, their role are not just being a teacher. They have to be, one, a parent for their children, two, children for their parents. There are teachers who need to attend and help their parents too. And having to multitask a lot of things but are unable to do so because so little time and there's so many things to do can definitely interrupt a teacher's attention span and definitely affect their mental health, because there's so many things to do and they just aren't able to do so because they're just so disorganized. Okay, so this definitely affect teachers' mental health and their interruption of attention span. Okay. the third point, which is student attention span. Okay, how is this relating to each other? So let's put a situation, okay, where an online class is being conducted. Okay, so teachers are putting their best to ensure that they are giving their best in conducting an online class. However, they see their students are also unable to focus for a period of time, because we all know how exhausting online class is. We all know how tiring it is to sit for hours in front of your laptop and to stare at a screen. It's very tiring. So when both parties are losing attention span, definitely can take a toll on the teacher's mental health as well, as much as the students do. Technology interruption, our final point. This is one of the issues that can definitely affect teachers' attention span, because not everyone is privileged enough to get a good Wi-Fi, to get a good internet connection, and to have sufficient tools. And this definitely applies to teachers as well. So teachers having insufficient tools to do their teaching and learning can definitely affect their attention span. Okay, so these four issues, let's recap back these four issues, which is first, the environment, how environment affects everything, and disorganization, having to multitask a lot of things, students' attention span, both parties are not paying attention well, and finally, technology interruption, not having sufficient tools. All of these issues can definitely interrupt a teacher's attention span. Okay, so now we will talk about how to overcome or how to help gain attention span. So number one, set small goals and make to-do lists. Now how can this help? So setting small goals and making a list of what you need to do every day. Okay, just set small goal and a couple of lists on what you need to get done on that day, not tomorrow or not the day after, just on that day, so you can focus on small goals instead of looking at the larger goals and then stressing out that you are unable to complete those goals. Okay, and the third and fourth, which is work out and take some time to rest and recharge. Now I cannot stress enough how important it is to take a good rest and just recharge yourself, because we all know how stressful the time being is. We all know how stressful it is to sit in front of your laptop, let alone conducting an online class, going to an online class. So just take some time after we are done with our tasks for the day. We need to take some time and recharge ourselves. Okay, so and it is okay to take a rest. Okay, and the fifth point, which is change of environment. Now how can we change our environment if we work from home? Now a couple of things that you can do is work in other environment. For example, yes, we are working from home, but let's say we change our working area, we make it a uplifting place that can uplift our mood to do our work. So change our environment and work in a quieter place where we are far away from distractions. Okay, and the sixth point, which is reduce interference. How can we reduce interference? Basically, like I said, focus on one small goals at a time, so you are not distracted by any other things on your list. Complete one list at a time and then move on to another. So take it slow and take it one thing at a time. Okay, so I hope that helps in gaining more attention span when doing an online class, when conducting an online class for all future teachers. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. That is on my point for attention span. And you made it till the end of our topic today. So let's recap a few things that we have discussed which is teachers' mental health during the pandemic. Okay, so the first one that we discussed was internet coverage. The second one was household chores, financial problems, attention span, and time management. So I hope this can give you a little bit of insights on the issues that we are talking about, and how can it affect our mental health, and how it can affect teachers' mental health as well. Remember, yes, teachers are human too, okay? So be kinder to them, please, and be kinder to each other, in fact, and let's all take care of our mental health during this tough time, and it's okay to take a rest sometimes. So thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in until the end of this until the end of the slide, and I hope you have a very good day ahead. Thank you very much. Bye.